Namaste, it's Ali here. Thank you for being here today. We're going to do a short practice, meditation practice on equanimity today. And if you've been on my website or my channel before, you know that this is a little bit of a theme here. It's a skill that I love to come back to again and again, and it's one of the most important skills I think there is to cultivate in a meditation practice. So I think of it both as a skill and of course a state. There's a state of equanimity that can arise the more we practice, the more that state starts to naturally arise. And it's very interconnected to this idea of the witness consciousness and that ability to be non-judgmental, but also this sort of sense of not reaching or grasping for anything or pushing anything away or avoiding anything in our experience. And I've spoken on this before, but just to be clear, equanimity is not the same as apathy or non-action. But it actually, what it does is it cultivates these skills of being more spacious and open about our experience. So there's like a vast quality in the awareness around what's happening around us in our lives, and this ability to be non-reactive. And non-reactive doesn't mean not acting, but it means responding more from this place of intelligence and presence and care, as opposed to from fear or irritability or hatred or anything like that. It's this presence that lets us respond more from intelligence and love. So this is talked about often in many different traditions around meditation, including some of you may have heard of this idea of the middle path that's so often talked about in Buddhism, not to resist or to cling to things. Or aparigraha, as we talk about in the 8 limbs of yoga. So today we'll work with equanimity and cultivating equanimity. I hope you enjoy the practice, and what we'll do today is actually work with cultivating different states in our bodies, and then actually introducing opposites. So you'll come to see what this looks like if you haven't done a practice like this before. But it can be a very interesting way of cultivating equanimity. Okay, so we'll begin in a comfortable seated position. So find yourself a comfortable seat. And then letting the hands rest down onto the lap. Closing down through the eyes. And as you begin to welcome yourself into your practice, notice your breath. Begin to invite the tension to melt away from the body. So noticing if there's any tension in the hands, in the shoulders, or the back. Is there a softening you can invite into all of the little micro muscles in the head and scalp, and the face, the jaw? Inviting the tongue to relax away from the roof of the mouth. Imagining the mind like a muscle that you could soften, or you might imagine the mind like a clenched up fist that you could slowly release and open, relaxing open, relaxing outward. Becoming open and receptive to sounds, aromas. The sensation of this breath. And this one. And this one. In equanimity, the lessons that we learn from equanimity is that life is, in a way, like the changing currents of the ocean. So there's this continuous shifting of waves of experience, and either we can fight it, or try to control it, manipulate it, and manage it. Or we can float on that surface of the vastness, trusting that it's always shifting and changing. It's the nature of the oceans, the nature of life. And trusting that sometimes it will be peaceful and calm, languishing. And sometimes there'll be a constancy, a predictability of waves ebbing and flowing in the harmonious rhythm. And at times there might be a storm that's raging. And equanimity teaches us to embrace the fullness of the vast oceans of this planet, the fullness of the experience of what it is to be a human on this planet. So as you breathe, welcoming life to be just as it is. And notice your ability to simply be here. Allowing the breath to be a steady anchor, and feeling the support, the constancy of the support beneath your body, the stability of the ground. Allowing yourself to really drop into that sense of support. And allowing the soothing rhythm, the ebb and flow of the breath. Sensing your ears, listening. Perceiving sounds. Sounds on this recording. sounds in your own space, in the distance. I notice how there's a natural quality of receptivity in the ears, allowing sounds to arise and dissolve without any judgment of the sounds. That receptive listening quality in the ears, there's no racing against or wanting any of the sounds to be different. That might begin to happen in the mind. But if we let that go, there's this natural, open receptivity, non-judgmental, just allowing sound waves to arise and dissolve. Could you welcome that quality of equanimous receptivity to become more global in your experience? So you might imagine the whole body becoming receptive, listening. Trillions of cells becoming open and receptive. There's a wakefulness. And receiving quality that begins to infuse the entire body globally. As if the whole body were listening. And then as you welcome your body to become more and more receptive, bring into your awareness something that you're grateful for. Just for a moment, something that you're grateful for. So that as you're in this state of open receptivity, you could allow the sensation of gratitude, the experience of gratitude to bubble up. What are you grateful for? You might mentally whisper the words, "Thank you." Feeling the sensation in your body. Both receptive, listening, open. And basking in the sensations of gratitude. Now notice if you can invite an opposite experience to the experience of gratitude. So maybe there's just a small situation in your life that can tend to put you into a state of irritability or anger or reactivity. Just welcoming that to be also in your experience, inviting that in. But can you also invite that background sensation of gratitude to be here? And can you begin to welcome these opposite experiences to be here equally? So you might be simultaneously inviting irritability and gratitude. Or anger and calmness. Staying with your breath. Can you invite these two opposing experiences to be here simultaneously? And you might notice how there's this witnessing quality, this equanimous witnessing quality. Able to perceive both experiences without going into reactivity or getting tangled up into a story around either experience. It's just observing. And could you be here with that equanimous quality? Staying with your breath. And you might, for the next few moments, just visualize yourself moving through your life and visualizing a moment that might be a recurring trigger for you, or somewhere where you tend to get stuck or brace against what's happening in life, or somewhere where you become reactive or have the sensation of irritability or frustration. And then could you imagine yourself in that moment inviting this equanimous quality, this peaceful, calm, or even grateful state to be infused into even that experience? And notice the power that that gives you in the situation. Power over your own experience. The power to move from a place of responding, from intelligence or care, from your presence, and not from that little place that gets irritable or frustrated. It's that presence that allows us to respond from intelligence and love. Even in the midst of challenge or feeling challenged. And notice the sense of both freedom and power that that brings into your experience of life. And then taking a deep breath into that sense of power. And exhaling. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. One more time. Deep breath in. Letting it go. Taking a moment here to notice how you feel. Slowly fluttering the eyes open. Taking a moment of reflection here now, just to observe your experience. Notice how you feel in this moment. And I'd love to hear from you. So when you're ready, you can leave me a comment below and just let me know. Let me know how that experience was for you. Let me know if you've ever practiced this skill of welcoming opposite experiences or emotions to be there simultaneously. Let me know also how this skill has shown up in your life in the past. So if you've had an experience before where, you know, over time there's less of a reactivity or more of a sense of control over your experience of the emotions, of not getting quite so sucked into the stories of whatever your personal story happens to be, whether it's some of us have a lot of things like resentment or irritability or anger, or there's always those places in life where we tend to get stuck or frustrated. So you might share a story, if you have one below, of how it feels to move through life more from that place of non-reactivity and more from that place of equanimity or responding from that more intelligent space that we cultivate in this practice. I'd love to know how you feel about the idea of that being a power. I love the saying, calm is a superpower, and I really truly believe that. So let me know in the comments below, and then if you're on my website or YouTube, you just scroll down to leave a comment. And if you're on my channel, this is a meditation that is part of a 10-day meditation challenge on my website. So you can find a link below to the website and head over there and join us, either for this challenge or the next one. And thank you for being here with me today. I truly appreciate your presence and your practice, and all of the great teachers who have come before to allow us to receive these teachings, and the way in which this movement right now of mindfulness and meditation is truly changing the world in the most beautiful and profound ways. And thank you for being a part of that. So, namaste. Have a beautiful day. I can't wait to hear from you, and I'll see you in the next video.